Well, Australian organisations are falling behind on best practice in cybersecurity, with almost half of those surveyed in a new report yet to implement leading verification practices. A report by Forrester Consulting, commissioned by Datacom, found that 58% of organisations were on their way to implementing zero trust, a strategic approach to cybersecurity that continuously validates every stage of a digital interaction. Joining me now to discuss this is Datacom Managing Director Alex Coates. Alex, thanks for your time today. First of all, tell us exactly what you mean by zero trust.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Matt. So zero trust is fast becoming a new global best practice for cybersecurity. And fundamentally, at its core, it's about keeping your organisation, your information and your people safe by giving them the right access to data, to applications and to networks. How that shows up for a user like you or me, Matt, would be that we are expected to verify or authorise data before we access that data and information.
Now, obviously, this is something that companies want to do to make sure their data stays safe. But what about for employees? Because, as an employee, often, you get sick of changing passwords or having to put codes in or having to, get a text message sent to you to verify every time you're trying to log in. Is there a way to achieve this sort of security without having that inconvenience?
Yeah, I think there is, and there are fast becoming automated verification methods, etc. But I think from a employee point of view, you have to also remember that COVID has further exacerbated the need for zero trust, because we now have a situation where, for the most part, we have people working in a hybrid working environment. And so it's become even more fundamental to keep people safe, to keep the information safe and the organisation safe. And zero trust achieves that in a hybrid working environment.
Now, the Biden administration last year directed all government departments to adopt zero trust as part of the US's new cybersecurity policy. What's the approach been here in Australia?
So I think the research that Datacom commissioned via Forrester is really interesting, and it points to three key things which I think are really worth noting. 80% of organisations in Australia see zero trust as part of their future strategy. So that's a really promising sign that people and organisations recognise the importance of zero trust. As you mentioned earlier, some 58% are on their way to achieving zero trust or on the journey to achieving zero trust. The thing that for me was really interesting in the Forrester survey results was that only 13% of organisations saw communication as key to the rollout of zero trust. And at the end of the day, zero trust is much more than just a technical implementation. It's actually a piece of organisational change where communication is absolutely vital to its success.
That survey you're talking about also found that there was 17% of those surveyed who were yet to begin implementing some kind of zero trust system. What sort of risk are they opening up for their businesses?
Well, I think they are fundamentally opening up risk, particularly, as I said, in a world where there's three really big contributing factors. Firstly, we have a workforce which are predominantly hybrid, and that's a new normal. The second is we have a landscape of just rapidly changing security trends, and then the third thing is the rapid uptake of public cloud. And those three things in combination have almost created a perfect storm around the need to adopt zero trust. So I think fundamentally, if you're not on that journey, or if you haven't accepted it's part of your journey, you are exposing your organisation to more undue risk.
So if you are one of those businesses that is not on that journey at this stage, I mean, what's the first step they should take, and how should they go about implementing this sort of system?
Yeah, so Forrester pointed out four key things that needed to be considered when you're implementing zero trust, and I've added a fifth. So the first is to think always about zero trust as strategically and structurally. So consider both of those elements when you're thinking about your zero trust strategy. Absolutely put employees at the core of zero trust. The third thing is never underestimate the power of communication and the need for change management. And the fourth thing is to make your long-term technology choices aligned to zero trust. If I were to add a fifth, I would say begin the journey, because it is a journey, it is a program, and it is an approach, and you need to keep calm almost and just zero trust.
Well, good advice, no doubt. Alex Coates, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.